Hey guys, Enigmatic Mr. L here, and I want to make a video where gave every Super Smash Bros. Character a game-breaking form, or alternate titles will include Super Form, or Maximum Limit Form, or even like Ultimate Form. So what this is it's an alternate form you select from the character select menu. It just gives the characters extreme buffs, removes some of their biggest weaknesses, improves things that are already good about them. Basically, just completely throws game balance out the window. And when everyone is super, no one is, as someone once said, which isn't going to be entirely true here. Some of these alternate game breaking forms, they're going to make Brawl Meta Knight look balanced, whereas others they're not going to do nearly enough, I think, to fix some characters' weaknesses and problems. Basically, going into this, I wasn't going to give anyone like an entirely new moveset, like completely reworked moves, since that would take a lot more development time. It's basically just things like X attacks or Y properties. They're faster, they're stronger, they have more range, etc. So the practical uses of this is, for one, it allows for some fun, chaotic matches, almost as if you're like always playing with items on. And two, it would be another way of enabling handicaps. Like, yes, you can just start with like certain damage already given to you, or just make your character stronger, like in other games, like melee handicap or something like that. But this can be another fun way of doing it. You're playing against a younger sibling or friend who doesn't know Smash Brothers that well. They can use one of these. Or you're tired of fighting against bots, you can just fight some of these like ultra forms, that sort of thing. So with that out of the way, got a lot of characters to cover, so just on with the list. Starting with Mario, his fireballs are going to be faster, they're stronger, and they travel more distance. His up special, it covers more distance, so it's better recovery, and it works as a better finishing move. Plus, Flood is always charged. Certain special moves always being charged. That's something that's going to be commonly used throughout. And just as a word of note here, a lot of these ideas were taken from the custom specials in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS. Basically, I just looked at them, and sometimes I only applied the upsides certain custom specials would give. So Donkey Kong, again, his neutral special is always going to be fully charged. One of Donkey Kong's biggest issues is his recovery, or lack thereof. So I made his up special. It travels more distance, and more importantly, you can angle it upward. So if you just hold up the entire time, he'll only rise vertically. Or more often, you hold up and to the left or up and to the right, and he'll gain vertical height as well. Plus, since Donkey Kong's like a grappling opponent, I imagine he can grab opponents for longer. Maybe since when you grab an opponent, the higher damage they have, the longer you can hold them. Basically, whenever Donkey Kong grabs someone, whatever their damage is displayed, add 50% of that to the equivalent of how long he can grab them, allowing for more pummeling or like taking off stage, that sort of thing. For Link, I just kind of buffed his projectiles as a zoner-like character. The neutral special always fully charged, his boomerang's more powerful, and the bombs have a bigger hitbox, and they're stronger as well. Now, same thing for Samus, just the neutral special is always charged. The missiles, their homing ability is increased even further, and the bomb she drops with a down special, they have a bigger hitbox and deal more damage. Giving these characters these like game-breaking forms, I thought it'd also be a good idea to help differentiate some of the echoes or clones or semi-clones from each other. So I didn't just want to give the same buffs to Dark Samus. She has a tether grab, which has better range, but has more startup lag. So I'm going to increase the grab speed on that. Her rolls, they're not as quick, I think, as Samus, so she has faster rolls. And instead of just buffing her projectiles, her up special, it works as a better finishing move, and it travels more distance. Yoshi went from just granting super armor to his second jump to outright invincibility. His rolls are notoriously slow, so it patched that up. And both his neutral special and his grab, they have extended range, like the tongue grab, and they have less startup. Kirby, I went with infinite jumps to be more accurate to his source materials. His side special is always fully charged, and his down special buries opponents if they're on land, and meteor smashes them if they're in the air. Fox just kind of buffed all the specials a little bit. Neutral special deals even more damage. I don't know, rack up damage quickly. Down special It sends projectiles back with twice their speed and power without the increase and startup of the custom special in Smash Bros. Wii U and 3DS. And his recovery is kind of predictable. Wasn't quite sure how to fix that, but just giving it super armor and traveling more distance will help it, however slightly it may be. Pikachu, a lot of players, especially new players, just kind of spam neutral special and especially down special, so I just buff both of those. Down special is even stronger. Side special briefly paralyzes opponents. And his side special is always fully charged. So for Luigi, his side special, kind of like Pikachu's, is always fully charged. Plus this one, it doesn't deal any recoil damage. His up special, it's much easier to hit the sweet box with. The hitbox lasts longer, and it's larger overall. So he has a more powerful up special. Plus, having a tether grab now, it still has it has the range of Ultimate Luigi's grab, but with the startup of like Smash 4 Smash 4U and 3DS and Brawl Luigi, so it has the best of both worlds. Ness, he's known for his like strong, good grab and throwing game, so I just increased that further. The grab range is greater, maybe like disjointed, and his throws are even more powerful. Plus, just that as an added little thing, the flames from his side special last even longer. Captain Falcon, make his Falcon Punch instant, or maybe like close to instant. Would this be absolutely broken? Yes. But would it also be fun? Also, yes. Side special, when he misses, it doesn't have like any like ending lag, or at least heavily reduced. And his forward aerial, it has a larger sweep box, much easier to hit with. Jigglypuff, I consider giving infinite jumps like Kirby, but I kind of wanted to differentiate them a little bit. So I just buffed its up special and down special. Both with more range. The down special is even stronger, kind of closer to how it was in Melee. Its up special puts opponents to sleep to longer. Kind of similar to how Donkey Kong can grab opponents longer. I'd imagine its up special just add like 50 equivalent damage to whatever the opponent has in terms of how long they stay asleep. Alright, next I have Peach. So for Peach, her down special, she could only pull out the Stitch Face, Turnips, and Bob-Ombs, maybe like 50-50 of each, make it a more powerful projectile. Would be a bit of a trade-off, maybe affect her combo game some, but I think this would be pretty fun. Also, her forward smash, it always uses the golf club in terms of like range, but it has the power of the frying pan. And her down smash gets buffed closer to how it was in Melee, just sucks in opponents more, deals more damage, and also potentially a good finisher as well. Since Daisy is kind of known for being like in spin-offs, like karting and sports and that sort of thing, I just basically improved her overall mobility rather than like improving her like attacks or something. So just faster airspeed, faster dash height, and increased jump height. Bowser, he has like this passive super armor. The effects of that are even greater. Like at lower damage, it takes even stronger attacks to make him flinch. And his fire breath can now like last forever. It doesn't diminish over time. Ice climbers, I had Nana or Popo if you choose Nana's leader. They can't die, and they're more difficult to separate from the leader. Basically, they take knockback, but they always have the equivalent maybe of like 0 damage, but they can get to their leader quicker. And if they do die, fall off the stage, they just immediately respawn next to the leader. Sheik, her biggest problem is just her low damage output, so just all of her attacks, while they still do low knockback, just slightly increased damage overall in order to rack up more meaningful combos. Zelda, down special is always fully charged, and it's easier to land the sweet spots on her attacks. Dr. Mario, I thought it was kind of strange how, like, in Melee, it was intended for him to be, like, a slower version of Mario due to his supposed lack of exercise. But his Mega Vitamins pack more of a punch, but you would think fireballs would do more damage than pills. So I just, instead of improving his specials or anything, I just increased his overall mobility, kind of like Daisy, just better dash speed, airspeed, and jump height. Pichu, I think the natural inclination here would just be have a version that doesn't take recoil damage. And some of Pichu's attacks are stronger than Pikachu, but others of Pikachu's attacks are stronger than Pichu's. So in this version, all of Pichu's attacks still have equal power, if not greater, compared to Pikachu. The only exceptions to this would be like if you're playing this special version of Pichu compared to the special version of Pikachu, The special version of Pikachu would have like a stronger thunder, but that's about it. Falco just increased his dash speed and airspeed. Also made his side special stronger. Might make approaching a little bit easier. Marth, notoriously a bit tricky for newer players, just always having to worry about landing with the tip of the sword. So all hitboxes on Marth's attacks have the tipper effect, like their strength and power. And Lucina is already a little bit faster than Marth. Just thought I'd, double down on that. So she has increased airspeed and dash speed, and her counter acts as a reflector as well, kind of like King K. Rool or Palutena or Joker's Arsène. Young Link is kind of a weaker version of Link, so just kind of patched up his problems there. Just give him increased power and sword attacks rather than increasing his projectile, so the semi-clone kind of differentiates itself more than standard Link. Ganondorf has a lot of problems. Terrible mobility, terrible attack speed, terrible recovery, no projectile, no way to deal with projectiles. The one thing he's not lacking in is strength, kind of like an over-crippling specialization, but I thought it would just be funny just to double down on that, just have all of his attacks be like 30 or like maybe like 50% stronger. A friend of mine, we kind of played around with like custom Smash Brothers a little bit when you like buff or nerf characters, and we just maxed out Ganondorf's strength. It really doesn't fix his problems, but it is funny, so I think that would be funny to do here as well. Mewtwo, the Shadow Ball, is always fully charged. Down special works even if the opponent isn't directly facing you. And as in previous games, its tail is no longer part of its hitbox. Roy, same thing with Marth, just all the hitboxes have the sweet spot effect. Chrome's biggest problem is his recovery. Wasn't quite sure how to fix that, but I just figured giving the up special like Donkey Kong's, you can angle it now, you can, it travels more distance, plus it can grab the ledge while it's rising. Mr. Game & Watch, I did consider having his side special always deal 9, but that seemed a little bit too broken, even in this ridiculous mode. So instead, his neutral special has more power, range, and speed, and the side special, it now has a 1 in 3 chance of dealing 9, 1 in 3 chance of dealing 6, which is the second strongest one, and 1 in 3 chance of just dealing the others besides 1 and 2, which are the weakest numbers it can get. Its down special now also absorbs all projectiles, not just energy-based ones. Meta Knight was broken in Brawl, so if we couldn't go exactly there, I would just get it more similar. Like some of its attacks dealing more damage, some having increased speed. Wouldn't be an exact copy because different physics of the game, but this would be closer. He would be closer to Brawl now. Pit just gave him more and floatier jumps, increased his air game, and also increased his dash speed and air speed. Dark Pit, I decided to go with more power overall, just slightly more damages on attacks, especially his neutral and side specials deal more damage when compared to his counterpart Pit. Zero Suit Samus has the usual neutral special always fully charged, and some of her KO options like Forward Smash, it's generally not considered strong for how lag it is, but it has increased knockback. And it's kind of small, but some of the nerfs she received over patches, like a little bit of ending lag here and there, did play a part, I think, and falling off in tournament representation. So all those minor things, they get removed. Wario, I did consider having the Wario Waft always fully charged, but instead I just went with it charges much faster. Plus, his neutral special now recovers even more HP from eating projectiles and chewing on opponents. And his side special, his bike, as soon as it's destroyed, he can just summon another one. Snake's biggest problem is his recovery, so trying to fix that, I gave him increased airspeed, his up special, the copter thing can't be destroyed, and while he still takes knockback from his own specials and explosives, he doesn't receive damage from them anymore. Ike, biggest problems are his mobility and attack speed, so I just slightly buffed both of those. Probably not as much as if I was just improving one or the other, but slight increase to both of those would be beneficial to Ike. Pokemon Trainer, I went with one by one. It's their Pokemon, starting with Squirtle. Water Gun, always fully charged. Just like in Brawl, it has resistance to fire attacks. Didn't bring back the resistance for the others because water and grass just aren't nearly as plentiful, and its smash attacks are faster. Ivysaur improved its airspeed, and its vine attacks have more range. Either just make the vine longer or just add a bit of a disjointed hitbox so it affects more than what it looks like it would. So even if you're just like an inch or two away from the vine, it still has a hitbox after that, just adding even more of a disjointed hitbox. Charizard basically just buffed the specials. Didn't want to make Flamethrower the same as Bowser, so it just increased its range and power, but you can't use it indefinitely like Bowser's. Flare Blitz, he doesn't take recoil damage from it, and its up special Fly acts as a better recovery, more distance on that. Diddy Kong just had the neutral special always fully charged. Diddy Kong is now immune to his own banana pills, so you can't use them against them. And his up special, kind of one of his problems is recovery. He at least has a super armor now during it. Lucas just buffed all of his specials. Maybe not like down special, but all of his projectiles won. Plus, PK Freeze is faster now. And in case like your opponent like absorbs or reflects PK Thunder, Lucas has an additional mid-air jump, probably at granting as much height as his second jump already does. Sonic just increased the speed of most of his specials besides up special, plus his forward smash is faster as well. King DDD gave them infinite jumps and faster airspeed to rival Kirby. Thought that was thematically fitting. Plus his down special grants super armor while it's charging. It doesn't deal like damage to DDD himself while it's charging too fast, and it just charges faster overall. For Olimar, he can once again have up to 5 Pikmin at once. I think he was reduced down to 3. At least in part because maybe the 3DS can't handle all those Pikmin at once, but the Switch should have no problem with that. His Pikmin have more HP as well, and his up special always has the effect as if there are no Pikmin. So when he has more Pikmin, he doesn't travel as much distance, but when he has no Pikmin, it travels more. It always has that ladder effect. Lucario was a big reason to kind of inspire this video in the first place. Just what if Lucario always had its maximum aura effect? Is it when it has a lot of damage, it's behind in stock? Regardless of whether it's winning and losing, how much damage it has, the aura effect is always peak. Rob just buffed the specials. Didn't want to have the neutral special always fully charged because that's a pretty powerful projectile, but it does charge much faster. Its up special, it lasts even longer time, allowing him to stay in the air and attack that way. But his down special, that one is always fully charged. Toon Link, Young Link, I just kind of patched up the problems he had in terms of power. Toon Link, I just kind of doubled down on his strengths, just gave him even faster movement, even a quicker attack speed. Wolf increased the speed of some of his attacks, neutral special, up smash, and back aerial. And now his side special, he doesn't put Wolf into a helpless state. So he can side special, then attack, or side special, then up special for recovery. One of Villager's biggest problems is his lack of mobility against faster opponents, so I just improved his overall mobility. Plus his grab has less ending lag. The side special rides like Lloyd Rocket. It doesn't put him in a helpless state if he disembarks, and its speed and power is increased. The standard speed and power is if Villager were riding it, and when he is riding it, its power and speed is increased even further. Mega Man just increased his dash speed, make approaching a little bit easier, and improve the speed of his smash attacks. For Wii Fit Trainer, their neutral special is always fully charged, but since that has a healing effect, this is I think the only time it's a slight nerf, besides maybe like Princess Peach or Turnips not being as good for combo. But I think this is a pretty good trade-off. Plus, in terms of healing, the down special heals even more HP now to compensate. It's easier to time, and it does grant temporary super armor. You still have to wait for it to charge up again to use it again, but maybe the cooldown is smaller or something like that. But even if not, just the down special is overall improved. For Rosalina and Luma, just basically what I did for Popo Nana. Just the Luma is now invincible. It can be hit, but doesn't matter how many times it's hit, it doesn't disappear. So Rosalina herself is never without a partner. And just as an added thing, the side special, she fires Star Bits, and has increased range and power. Little Mac always has this KO uppercut available. And while I did say that Game & Watch having like a level 9 side special would be too much for this mode, even ridiculous as it is, I think Little Mac can get away with it because he's much worse of a character overall. Plus his up special, he's still not going to have good recovery, but It normally grants more distance if used on the ground. That distance equivalent is now the default. Doesn't matter if he's on the ground or in the air. But I don't know how much this would honestly help Little Mac with his problems. So for Greninja, Shuriken's always fully charged. Its grab is a little faster. And there's reduced landing lag on its down area in particular. Hopefully make it a little more difficult to juggle Greninja. So the Mii's were a little tricky. Unlike previous characters, I couldn't just rely on their specials because they have so many and there's custom. So I just made other fixes. One of the Mii Brawler's problems is his recovery. So I just increased his airspeed plus gave him an additional mid-air jump. And his smash attacks, they're kind of poor range. So I just added disjointed hitbox on them. Basically a trend for all the Mii characters. I did something to their smash attacks. Mii Sword Fighter for a Swordy kind of has low priority on his attack, so this way he can win out against other characters, and they're stronger overall. Mii Gunner has the worst mobility of the Mii's, so I just improved mobility here, dash speed, maybe like airspeed and such. And her smash attacks, while powerful and have good range, are kind of slow, so it just increases the speed of them. Palutena had a unique effect here. She has no stale move negation, so you can just spam neutral aerial or maybe even like back aerial as much as you want. It doesn't affect her. Her tilt attack's a little faster, and her up special has a small hitbox at the beginning and end. Not that useful for damaging, but might make it a bit easier to recover, just having like some level of hitbox at all. Pac-Man, basically all I did here was made a lot of specials can't be used against him. His neutral special is always the fully charged key, and now it can't be grabbed and thrown back. Up special, a little trampoline, it can't be used by opponents. And he's unaffected by his own down special, so unaffected by the water current, and if someone like launches the fire hydrant, he doesn't get affected by it at all. Robin, I added unlimited use of his Levin Sword and specials, and this is like, I think, maybe the one time where he has a chargeable special that isn't always fully charged. I did consider that, but then I thought a better way to just bounce him out. Robin has terrible mobility, not because it's like accurate to the source material, but just otherwise you could just run away during the fight until your left sword and specials recharge. But if he already has unlimited use of them, you can just have improved mobility instead. Just average dash speed or like slightly above average dash speed and the like. So then for Shulk, his Monado arts, they last longer, they don't have drawbacks, and the effects they give are even greater to like defense or damage output or launch power, etc. Bowser Jr. special is always fully charged. It's the standard. His up special grants super armor, helps a little bit with recovery. And Bowser Jr. himself takes more damage as opposed to the cart, and this buff would remove that. Probably none of these are going to do that much to help Bowser Jr.'s problem, but I did what I could. For Duck Hunt, just improved his ground game a bit with a stronger, faster dash attack, and his initial dash is faster. Plus, his throws are more powerful as well. Ryu, I just want easier command inputs. All the fighting game characters, I'm terrible at doing the inputs. Insert whatever generalization about Smash Bros. Fans you like here. Don't know how practical this could be. They could just make them automatic somehow, at least some of them, or at least make them easier. I don't know if this would be feasible, but it's something I would like to see. And even though I'd like to do the same for Ken, again, I'm just trying to differentiate the clones and semi-clones a bit. So for Ken, I just gave him higher jumps with better air acceleration for his recovery, and his throws now have increased knockback, give him a bit more niche over Ryu. For Cloud, I did consider just having the limit gauge always fully charged, but that seemed a little too ridiculous even by this mode. So instead, it just charges much faster, and kind of like in Smash 4, there's no time limit once it's charged. It doesn't just eventually go away. So if you can if you want, like, for example, hold on to it, and then use the up special to recover more distance. Corrin kind of plays more similar to her Smash 4 incarnation, but still maintaining the buffs that Ultimate gave her. In addition, just the standard neutral special always fully charged. Her side special now has a decreased lag and increased range again, and her up special once again, in addition to now being a good KO option, it does grant some slight horizontal momentum to aid recovery. Bayonetta, like Meta Knight was once a broken character, so she would just play a bit more similar to her Smash for Wii U and 3DS incarnation, a bit less ending lag here and there, a bit more knockback here and there, etc. So getting into Ultimate's base game characters, starting with Inkling, I just gave them Infinite Ink. Probably not as flashy as some of the other buffs received, but I think it would be fun to play as Inkling here and there without having to worry about like constantly charging your ink tank and use the more ink hungry moves. Ridley, I gave him infinite jumps, increased airspeed to make him a bit more accurate to how he is in the source material games. You just fly indefinitely. His neutral special, always fully charged, and his down special is now easier to sweet spot with. Either it has increased speed, or the sweet spot like lasts longer, is larger, or some combination thereof. Simon's biggest weakness is his recovery, or lack thereof, so I just made so his up special travels much more distance when used in the air. Now, when used on the ground, it still grants the same distance, just as like a get off me tool, but in addition to that, also increased his airspeed. Richter, instead, I focus on his defense, just recovery. I focus on offense. His hitboxes are now wider and disjointed. It's not that they were poor range per se, but they're just very narrow, so characters could like duck underneath it. Now they just kind of have a wider hitbox overall, and all hitboxes now have the tipper effect, which isn't as impactful here as it is with Marth, but I still think would be a fun buff. King K. Rool, almost all of his attacks have some level of ending lag, so this would greatly reduce them. And while he has a good initial dash, his dash speed is kind of mediocre, so he's not fast, especially for a heavyweight character. And his down special, it doesn't break. Isabelle, her side special, like the fishing rod, now bypasses shields or passive shields, reflectors, and counters. Her down special, the Gyrwood rocket, she doesn't take damage from that. And her damage output overall is increased. Incineroar's biggest problems are his terrible recovery and its terrible mobility. I could just try to fix one of those, but instead, I thought it'd be fun just to have its down special always be active. You can still use down special as like a form of a counter, but all of its attacks have that like 0.12, 0.13 damage multiplier, power multiplier. Would be pretty funny, I think. Piranha Plant can always use its poison breath. It's fully charged unless it's already active on the field. Plus, and just increase its aerial game. Its air mobility is improved, and it has multiple jumps, which I believe in terms of data mine, this was planned at one point, so we're just going to implement that in. Plus, just help with that. Multiple air jumps should help. All right. In addition to having multiple air jumps, improved airspeed should help. Joker has Arsène always active. Again, another pretty busted one, but would be pretty fun or / funny. Hero, I did consider like what I would do with like command input. If I would just make it so it always has like 4 of the best moves, but in the end, I figured, I don't know, taking away some of the options doesn't really seem that interesting. So instead, it has unlimited MP, plus its neutral up and side specials. They're always fully charged. Banjo-Kazooie have unlimited use of Wonder Wing, and their damage output overall, like Isabelle, is increased. Terry, again, for a fighting game character, just get one with easier command inputs. Yeah, I know I said I tried to differentiate clones and semi-clones, but Terry and Ryu are different enough that I felt giving them the same buff wouldn't be problematic, but they're also similar. I think this is what a lot of players would like. Byleth, I increased her attack speed. One of the few characters that doesn't have a chargeable attack that's always fully charged. Instead, her like neutral special like normally has like the standard level 2 and level 3. Level 2 is now the default, and level 3 is now where level 2 is. So it just charges faster and starts stronger. Plus moves like down special and down smash would be increased speed. Byleth, her right arm effectively has the speed of Ram with the power of Megawatt. So basically her down special is now useless. You don't really need to swap between them. But I think this would be a fun change. Steve, a character who definitely needs no buff, but he no longer needs to mine. He just always has unlimited gold materials, or maybe diamond, whichever is stronger. Sephiroth is always in his winged form. It's the second jump, stronger smash attacks, etc. Doesn't need to rely on comeback mechanic. Pyro and Mithra characters, I really think don't need a buff. They're already pretty strong as is, but since we're giving everyone a buff, Pyro now has Mithra speed, and Mithra now has Pyro's power. So the only real difference between the two are their special attacks. Make a broken character even more broken. Kazuya, again, just with the fighting game characters, just went with easier command inputs. And so last but not least, we have Sora. So as a sword character, he doesn't have the best range. I'll just increase the range on those. And since he's like known for fighting the sky, his double jump is now quicker, plus he gets a second one, plus with faster airspeed. All right, that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments of ideas you change for a super form or game-breaking form, please let me know in the comments below. This is Enigmatic Mr. L, signing out.